Imagine taking the same train home every day and always encountering a tall, slim, beautiful girl who stands right beside you, staring silently. She never speaks, never looks away, and this strange routine continues for months, until one day something unexpected finally shifts everything. The story opens late at night in Hiramatsu Station, past 10, neon lights glowing across the platforms. Inside the third train car, near the far side door, our female lead is intensely staring at a boy who simply stands there, unaware of the storm in her head. She's desperately trying to figure out how to return a handkerchief that belongs to him, her face slightly flushed as she panics internally. Then we flash back. Near a parking lot, a girl gets kicked hard in the face. It's the same girl from the train, fighting a group of delinquents. Her movements show she's a skilled brawler, and she easily overwhelms them before yelling with a furious voice, "Drop dead already." This happened over 6 months ago, back when she was a troublemaking delinquent, constantly surrounded by fights and chaos. Bruised and drained from that battle, she boarded the same train we see now. Despite her strength, her self-esteem was low, and that day she was completely worn out. By coincidence, she had planned to take a different train, but fate pushed her onto this one. People stared, whispering about her beaten appearance while she silently endured it, pretending she didn't care, though it always hurt. Then, out of nowhere, someone offered her a handkerchief. In a gentle voice, he asked if she was okay. She froze, stunned by his kindness, staring awkwardly at the boy who kept insisting she take it. That single moment lodged itself deep in her mind. Back in the present, Ryoko is psyching herself up, determined that today will be the day she finally returns the handkerchief no matter what. Yet when she steps into the train, everyone eventually leaves, and she ends up alone again, walking out as the doors close, feeling like she lost yet another battle. The fighting gorilla Ryoko has once again been defeated by her own nerves. "This is impossible," she mutters. It has taken her 6 whole months just to work up the courage to return his handkerchief, and she has failed more times than she can count. After failing yet again, she wondered if he would even remember her at all, if she was the only one desperately hoping to meet and talk again. Snapping her eyes open in frustration, she began banging on the metal pole beside her, startling nearby passengers who stared like she'd lost her mind. Her full inner monologue spilled out, and, surprisingly, she absolutely hated weak thoughts. She muttered that what she just thought was terrifying and almost dragged her into self-pity. She reminded herself, "I am Iron Leg Ryoko, second to none, whose fierce aura can shut up a crying kid instantly." Repeating it with conviction, she vowed she would return that handkerchief no matter what. Tomorrow would be the day she shined. And finally, tomorrow arrived. After the school bell rang, Ryoko was standing inside the girls' restroom. Facing the mirror with a serious yet oddly cute expression, she hyped herself up with a dangerous motivational speech. "I am a beast that stalks its prey. All that's left is timing, nothing else matters. Today is the day you overcome every fear. Don't look back. Do what you must, do what you want." When her intense little speech ended, she blushed, ready to face her crush. But on the way, all her hope crashed the moment someone shouted her name. A group of delinquent girls stood there, and one with golden hair and a broken nose mockingly called her Iron Legs, saying it had been a while. Leaning forward, trying to intimidate her, the bully sneered about her suspension ending and mocked her dignified walk, claiming it didn't suit a female gorilla. She waited for Ryoko to explode and start a fight. But Ryoko only smiled big, bright, and wide. The girls were stunned, as they approached again with hostility, calling her ugly even though she wasn't. Ryoko calmly repeated their words back to them. She said she had a train to catch and couldn't waste time on pointless fights, then walked past them. One girl grabbed her shoulder, yelling that her house wasn't even in that direction and she didn't need any train to go home. Ryoko stopped, then glared over her shoulder with a cold, deadly expression, warning her to remove her hand or she'd break every bone in her face. The girl instantly let go. Ryoko told them she wasn't the thug she used to be. She wanted to change her life, and besides, she was too busy for them now. Leaving with a wave, she added one last warning: they should never appear in front of her again. The girls were shaken. Her sudden change was strange, almost unsettling. One of them finally muttered that something was definitely going on with her. Meanwhile, at the station, it was past 10, and the train sped through the night. Inside, the battle in Ryoko's mind raged on as she blushed and searched for the right moment to approach him. She kept glancing at him, taking 3 slow breaths to calm herself down. She was just about to speak when the bully's words echoed back in her mind about Ryoko pretending to be some diligent, polite girl. As she thought about it, The realization hurt her deeply, and her lips slowly closed. If she returned the handkerchief, then what? There would be no reason for her to ride this train again. She admitted to herself that she was scared to give it back, and even more scared for this moment to end. While she kept her head lowered, the boy stood quietly reading his book. But when she noticed the delinquent girls inside the train, her whole body froze. They must have followed her after seeing her strange behavior earlier. One of the bullies loudly called out to her, using her nickname, Iron Legs. The girl swaggered toward Ryoko and slung an arm around her shoulder, leaning in with a mocking smirk. She said it was obvious Ryoko was hiding something from them, and if she were in her shoes, she'd offer some advice. Ryoko pushed her off, but the bully didn't stop, claiming she understood the look Ryoko had given someone on this train. She hinted that Ryoko had fallen for a guy who rode regularly. Then, shoving herself even closer to Ryoko, the bully pointed straight at the boy and shouted that Ryoko had a serious crush on him. Ryoko's eyes widened, and the boy looked confused. Ryoko instantly blurted out aloud, "No," but the moment the word left her mouth, she realized she had just denied the very thing she had been working toward for months. She had destroyed her own reason to ever meet him again. Just then, the train arrived at Umetsu Station. The doors opened sharply. Ryoko stood frozen as the bully smirked and sarcastically said she must have been wrong about her hunch. Fake apologizing, she added that the nose Ryoko once broke still hurt and that everything she said must have been a mistake. Ryoko shoved her away and dashed out without a word. The boy watched silently, lost in thought, while the bully laughed at how childish Ryoko seemed. Ryoko ran until she reached a nearby park and hid there. Sitting on a swing, she gently rocked back and forth, replaying everything that had just happened. The excitement she'd been carrying for months evaporated in minutes. There had never been anything real between them, no liking, no mutual feelings, and yet she had hoped anyway. Stopping the swing, she muttered in a sad, lonely voice, asking herself what she had even expected. Surely everyone saw her as pathetic, an eyesore. Her voice cracked, and she began to cry loudly, painfully, as if she had just lost her first love after fighting for 6 long months. Her tears wouldn't stop. She told herself romance wasn't meant for someone like her. Wiping her face with her sleeves, she decided she should at least return the handkerchief. But when she checked her bag, her eyes widened. The handkerchief was gone. She searched every corner of her bag, retracing her steps, and then it clicked. When the bully had leaned on her earlier, she must have taken it. Anger sparked inside her. Furious at their constant interference, she sprinted back to the station. The bullies were still there with the boy nearby, and it looked like they had been waiting deliberately. Breathing heavily, Ryoko demanded they return it. The bully held up the handkerchief, taunting her, asking if she cherished this little cloth so much, and if it really belonged to that boy. Without waiting, Ryoko lunged forward to grab it but missed. Clearly, the girls wanted something from her first, and that's exactly what was about to happen. She added that in order for them to give Ryoko the handkerchief, she must fulfill their one condition. "Become our punching bag," the bully told Ryoko with a disgusting and serious tone and expression. Ryoko reminded her that in the previous fight she manhandled her and treated her like a rag doll, and with a threatening tone, asked the bully if she would like her to punch her again in the nose, much harder this time. The bully replied, "You can surely do that if you want, but if you do it right here in the open, all the constant and fake acting that you have been doing will be destroyed." "Do you want to meet him with a bad reputation?" she asked, and added that all Ryoko needed to do was become their punching bag for some time, and they would leave her alone and wouldn't bother her. Ryoko reflected that taking a few hits was better than creating a serious scene here, and while shaking her head, she told them that she understood and to go ahead. However, just as she said this, it seemed that the bullies had planned everything and brought out a long, thick chain. While faking praise for her guts, the bullies added, "If your belief is as strong as those legs, why don't we test it out?" Minutes had passed, and the brutal one-sided beating of Ryoko went on and on. As the sound of strong punches and grunts were heard by people passing by, they ignored it and realized that a series of intense bullying was taking place. There, Ryoko was getting punched so hard and aggressively that after every shot, she would fall down on her face, panting for breath, as her arms were tightly tied up. The bullies had also tied Ryoko's legs, fearing her strength. She pulled her hair and asked, "How does it feel to be beaten while you can do nothing but endure? It's frustrating, right? If you are so confident in your legs, how about you try to break them free and attack us?" As the bully glared at her face, Ryoko was unfazed and extremely pissed at them. There was no hint of pain or fear in her eyes. Rather, There was an aura of a beast that sent shivers down anyone's spine, and the bullies got startled as they saw Ryoko completely composed. As Ryoko lay there, the bullies realized that physical pain was useless for a fighter and a body like hers, and they decided to tell her what happened after she ran from the bus earlier. As she mentioned how the boy confronted everyone there to stop bullying, she told him that he was such a sweetheart and was worried about her. Just seeing him for the first time, I realized that this handkerchief was his. As she dropped the handkerchief and stomped on it hard, Ryoko's eyes widened, and she added that after she left, all the delinquent girls fought him and beat the crap out of him. This shook Ryoko, and the bully kept adding things to her sentence, mentioning how he was such a wimp and how it made no sense why Ryoko was so into weak, pathetic, spineless boys. She mocked her again and told her that seeing Ryoko down reminded her that the boy was lying down as well, and both of you must be perfect for each other. After the brutal beatdown, the bullies added that this was refreshing and left. The picture of the boy Ryoko liked came to her mind, and she yelled, "Wait!" As the bullies glared back, they saw something that scared and shocked the living crap out of them. Ryoko exerted so much force and strength that she ended up breaking the chain in half, leaving all the bullies speechless and stunned. As Ryoko stood up, she told them that didn't mind getting hurt over and over again, and getting punched meant nothing to her, and enduring to the point where she would cough up blood was okay as well. However, hurting someone who didn't have anything to do with this was something that was out of her understanding. As she said this, she readied herself and told them that she would now be teaching them some manners with these iron legs. The bullies alerted themselves again and cursed at her, but Ryoko leaped at them with her right leg ahead and jumped high enough that her feet landed on one of the girls. Using that as leverage for a bit of height, she readied herself to drop a kick at the main bully's face and nose once again. With a right swing of her leg, she broke the bully's nose, breaking all the cockiness out of her once and for all. Later, Ryoko fought off the girls and stood at the stop where the boy could be. It seemed that she became a laughingstock for everyone there, as instead of asking for her well-being, they smirked and laughed. As she added that this was the time to end everything and apologize for the mess she had caused, she was ready to face whatever would happen. As the train doors slid open, the boy unexpectedly came face to face with the girl. Both of them were covered in bruises from head to toe, and at the same moment, they let out a confused phrase as they noticed each other. Shocked, they stared for a moment before Ryoko finally gathered enough courage to speak, telling him it was completely her fault that he ended up getting hurt. She added softly that she was relieved to see he was doing fine. Then she slowly handed over his handkerchief and said in a faint voice, "You might not remember, but this belongs to you, and I wanted to thank you for everything." Just as her words trailed off, the boy suddenly interrupted, saying he remembered her very clearly. He took the handkerchief from her hand, and Ryoko froze, unable to react. The boy continued, admitting that he also wanted to talk to her many times but always got too nervous and messed it up. As he awkwardly confessed this, he noticed Ryoko's eyes filling with tears. Despite all her strength and the intimidating image she carried, Ryoko was still just a normal girl with a tender heart. And in that moment, she realized that her very first love might finally be stepping into its next chapter.